Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're watching this, you probably feel like your life is stuck in second gear. You're dragging yourself out of bed, struggling with consistency. Maybe you're not looking or feeling your best, and you have no idea where to even start improving yourself. You probably tried a million things. You tried, improving your diet, exercise, and doing all that self improvement stuff. But you do that, and you go back to relapsing, and you go back to feeling like your 2 out of 10 self, and you're tired of feeling like a 2 out of 10. You want that whole 180-degree change, and you want to wake up feeling like you can conquer the world, like you're actually becoming the best version of yourself, and you want that mental clarity, that unstoppable self-belief. Well, what if I told you that there's this one simple, often overlooked habit that can kickstart your entire transformation? It's a habit so powerful, so fundamental, that once you implement it, once you start implementing that, everything actually starts falling into place. And this is something that I've used for me, and it helped me have the mindset of being more positive, and it's just something that's like very beneficial. And it's not no expensive course or a magic pill. It's actually a journal, specifically a gratitude journal. But it's not just a gratitude journal. We're gonna talk about how to gratitude journal, and most importantly, why. Writing down the why behind your gratitude journaling and the missing piece that you've been ignoring. And for years, I was just like many of you. I had no written goals, no habit tracker, and definitely had no idea what a gratitude journal even was in the first place. And I was stuck in that cycle of having a poor mental health, binge eating, feeling overweight, and just feeling like a failure. I'm not gonna lie with you. And every day felt like a grind, and I felt like a fatty. I tried to start making content and stuff, and I would try to get my physique right and try to build better habits, and then I just give up, and I literally thought that consistency was a myth. But but then I started implementing this one simple yet powerful habit into my morning routine. And let me tell you, it's not just about feeling good for a few minutes. It was about literally shifting my mindset. It was about going from feeling like I was constantly going up an uphill battle to feeling like I had an unfair advantage. Like I was literally one step ahead. And this isn't no motivational stuff. This is practical, actionable steps that you can take today, literally right now, to start turning you around. And this is about taking your mental game from 0 to 100. And it's trying to shift that unshakable confidence and self-belief that you actually desire. Because let's be real, you want to be that person that can achieve everything that they want, right? You want to be that person that never gives up. You want to be that person that always completes the girls that always completes their goals and becomes the person that they actually want to be for their future self. So let's get into it. So what is a gratitude journal? At its most basic level, it's a place, or it's something where you write down things that you're grateful for. It's simple, right? You grab a notebook, you grab a pen, and you just list things. Maybe it's things like, I'm grateful for my bed, I'm grateful for coffee, I'm grateful for friends. And look, it's just doing that is better than doing nothing. And it's a start, and it forces you to momentarily shift your focus from what's going wrong to actually what's going right. And it gives you a small mental reset, and for someone who's constantly battling negative self-talk or poor mental health, even that small shift and writing that down can feel like a monumental win. And your mind is usually running a million miles an hour if you really think about it. And focusing on your problems, things like, I don't look attractive, my physique sucks, I have no money, I don't know how to start making content, all that negative self talk, all valid stressors, all things, all of those negative things are actually what we need to work on. But if that's all you're focusing on, you're just reinforcing those negative neural pathways, and you're training your brain to see what's only lacking. And a gratitude journal acts as a circuit breaker. It basically just reverses that, and it forces you to acknowledge the good instead of acknowledging the bad. And it's like telling your brain, hey, hold up, we've got some problems, but we also have this, and it's the positive. And a negative thinking negatively will never lead you to a positive life. So here's why I am preaching gratitude journaling. But also, here's where most people mess up. Here's what the real power of this habit lies, and where you separate yourself from the masses who just dabble in self-improvement and stuff. And it's not just literally listing what you're grateful for. If you want to dig deeper, here's a tip I can give you. You need to write down the reason why you're simply grateful for that certain thing. And this when I learned this, this should change my entire like my perspective of like positivity and like gratitude journaling like ever. So let me give you an example. Instead of just writing I'm grateful for my bed, you instead write down you instead write down I'm grateful for my bed because it provides me with a comfortable, safe space to rest and, recharge after a long day of grinding. And it allows me to get quality sleep, which fuels my energy for tomorrow's challenges and it helps me stay consistent with my workouts. You see the difference? Do you see the difference? When you write down the why, you're doing several critical things. One of them is actually um, being specificity, whatever. Being specific. When you write down the why, you are doing, you're being very specific. You are not being just general. You're being incredibly specific. This isn't some broad, I already know this kind of advice. You're diving into the details, and that's where the magic happens. Actually, your brain can't dismiss it as easily, and yeah, and also you're forcing your brain to truly focus on that specific thing that you're grateful for. You're not just glancing over it, and you're dissecting it, understanding its value and appreciating its contribution to your life. And this deepens the feeling of your gratitude. And it's not just a thought. It gives you like a whole experience of like when you feel that moment. And when you explain why something matters, you tap into the emotions associated with it. And that comfortable bed isn't just a piece of furniture, it's a source of rest, recovery, and readiness for the day, and it refuels your energy. And that coffee isn't just a drink, it's your productive morning and your fuel for your early hustle. And by articulating the why, you're actively reinforcing these positive beliefs about your life and your circumstances. You're telling yourself, even with all my struggles, there's so much good here. And there are things actually supporting me and helping me and making my possible journey possible. You know? And this isn't literally just about feeling good. This can also be about building a mental fortress. It can also be about cultivating an inner state where you're constantly recognizing abundance, even when things are tough. And let me tell you, when you're in that state, you become unstoppable. I'm not gonna lie. And you become the person who believes they can achieve anything that they want with this positivity. Now let's talk about now let's talk about when to do this. While you can technically do this habit like anytime, personally I recommend making this a non-negotiable part of your morning routine, and this is where you can get the maximum leverage. Because if you think about your typical morning routine right now, if you're like my ideal viewer, you might be waking up late, feeling tired, dreading the day, maybe even hitting the snooze button a couple times, and your phone is probably the first thing that you grab, instantly flooding your brain with notifications, comparisons, and distractions. And that's a recipe for low energy and an overall unmotivated day. When you start your day with gratitude journaling, especially writing down the why, you immediately shift your internal state. And here's why the morning is preferable for me. First off, you're literally programming your brain for positivity before the chaos of the day even begins. And instead of waking up stressed or anxious, you're waking up feeling appreciative and grounded. This sets a powerful tone for the entire day, and you feel a noticeable boost that carries through your morning routine and beyond. And positive morning routine leads to a positive day. That's just one word that I always live by. And also, before your mind gets cluttered with tasks and emails and social media, you're you're taking a moment to connect with what truly matters, and which is the present. And this brings a sense of clarity and purpose to your day. It helps you prioritize and focus on your goals rather than just reacting to whatever comes your way. And starting your day with the win, even a small one like completing your gratitude journal, it builds momentum and it tells your brain, okay, we're actually productive today. Even if you do gratitude journaling and you meditate, and that's literally the only thing that you did for the day, you're way more productive than your average person that just wakes up, doom scrolls on TikTok, Instagram, and does nothing all day. You're way more productive than that person because all you suddenly did was have a morning routine and gratitude journal. And out of all the habits you can implement into your morning routine, cold showers, meditation, reading, working out, all great by the way. And I do like literally all of them. Gratitude journaling, especially with the why component, is one of the absolute best. And why? Also why. There's so much information on this on why I think this is good. But why is also because it directly targets your internal state. Many habits focus on like these outside actions or physical improvements, and working out working out improves your physique, reading improves your knowledge and everything, right? But gratitude journaling, it works on your mindset and your perspective and your emotional state. And guess what? Your internal state dictates your external actions. Oh, oh my god, I'm cooking. Your internal state dictates your external actions. If your mental health is poor, if your mental health is poor, you will lack confidence and you will not be consistent and you will do all the bad habits. If you gratitude journaling is like the foundational layer, and it fortifies your mind and it makes you like resilient, bro. It makes you appreciate the process even when it's hard. And when you appreciate small wins, when you see good even in challenges, you're far more likely to stay consistent, to push through and achieve your goals. Because when you gratitude journal, you'll be more positive, which will give you a better mental health, which will have you be more consistent, do better habits for a long time, and you'll want to do it even more because you will see your progress. And the number one motivator to keep on doing something that'll benefit you is seeing progress. If you lift in the gym for like 4 or 5 months and you see hella progress, you feel motivated for you to do more, and that's why you keep sticking to the gym. And that improves your mental health crazy. Before this, I was literally prone to getting caught in negative thought spirals. My first breakup hit hard, off topic, and I tried to get to different business models like drop shipping, or I would do things like that, try different business models, and I would get a little bit of traction, and I give up when things got tough, and I look at my physique, and I would feel like a fat ass 2 out of 10, and I compare myself to others and feel inadequate. But implementing this daily gratitude practice changed my entire outlook. I've always seemed to be more positive than others around me, even when facing setbacks. I used to have a clothing brand. I never told you about this, but I used to have a clothing brand. But when my clothing brand had a slow day, instead of spiraling, I'd be grateful for the lessons learned and for the customers I did have. For the fact that I even had a business. When views were low, I'd be grateful for the opportunity to learn and improve my content and to make it more informational, more masculine, and more hardworking, and feel more powerful and driving just like this. This isn't about denying problems. It's about acknowledging them while simultaneously recognizing the good. It's about building an internal resilience that allows you to push through the plateaus. And it's about cultivating that arrogant, no one can fuck with me mindset, to constantly reminding yourself of all the blessings and opportunities you have, and you start believing when you can achieve everything you want. Because because everything is, all this is training your brain to, believe in the possibilities. Okay, that's a lot of talking. All right, enough talk. Let's get down to how you can actually do this. First, you need to get a journal. Don't write it down on your phone notes. It's better to write down on a physical journal pen because you feel more present to actually doing the habit. And the act of physically writing down something engages your brain differently, and it's more intentional, more meditative, and it doesn't need to be fancy, just a simple notebook. And step two, choose your time, preferably the morning. So as soon as you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, make it the first thing you do after getting out of bed, or even while you're still in bed, but before your mind gets hijacked by the external stimulus stuff. And consistency is key here. I want you to make it a non-negotiable part of your routine, just like brush your teeth. And I know damn well, even if you don't want to do the habit, you can literally write down one thing that you're grateful for. You can literally write down one thing that you're grateful for. Just do the bare minimum. And step three is to set an intention. Before you start writing, I want you to take a deep breath and close your eyes for a moment. Tell yourself, I'm going to find things I'm genuinely grateful for, and I'm going to understand why. And after that, you literally just start writing. Like I said, you can do the bare minimum when it comes to when times get hard with being consistent and you literally don't want to do it. But try to write down 3 to 5 things every day, and you don't need to overwhelm yourself. Make sure it's literally quality over quantity. And for each saying, write down what you're grateful for, and then immediately follow with the specific reasons why. For example, I'm grateful for blank because blank, blank, and blank. For example, I'm grateful for my ability to wake up early today because it allowed me to get a head start on my work, feel more productive, and avoid the rush. It shows me that I'm consistent, and it shows me that I really care, and this helps me achieve my goals faster. Or for example, I'm grateful for the healthy meal I ate this morning because it nourished my body, gave me very healthy energy for my workout, and is actively helping me transform my physique from a 2 out of 10 to a 8 out of 10. Or, you know, I have a lot, I literally have so many examples because I've been writing this, like, I've been writing so much, like, gratitude for so long. So, for example, I'm grateful for the small wins I've had with my business because they help me prove that my hard work is actually paying off, even if it's not blowing up yet. It reminds me that I'm not a failure and that I'm capable of achieving everything that I want, and it shows that I'm capable of being great one day. And as you write down each why, I want you to pause. You don't need to rush through it. I want you to allow yourself to truly feel the gratitude and let that gratitude sink in, because this is where the real rewiring happens. This is where you connect with that feeling of being unstoppable. Now, with a few warnings, there are ways to kind of mess this up, and I want you to avoid them. First off, is being vague, and I think this is the biggest one. If you just write down, I'm grateful for my family, it's very good for the start, but after doing this for a while, it starts to get a little bit generic, and your brain just scrolls past it. And, you know, why are you grateful for them? I'm grateful for my family because they push me to be better even when they doubt me, and their support gives me the drive to prove them wrong and achieve my dreams. You see the difference? It's like the more specific you are, the more like better it feels. And try treating it as like a chore. Even if it feels like a task that you have to do, you're doing it, you're doing it wrong. This should be a moment of reflection and a moment of power. If you're rushing, you're missing the point. Take your time and like be smooth. One thing I learned was a lot of people, when they go to the gym, they're like, oh yeah, intense. They play fucking loud music, all this funk music. They like think like their life is hard. It's like they're literally like on like that David Goggins mindset. Like it's good to have that mindset, but why not just like be more peaceful and be like more slow and like more flowingly? You will have such a great workout, and I believe that you build way better muscle if you were to just slow down and just like be chill with it. You know what I mean? Like I don't. That's just how I feel. That's just I don't know. I feel like I've definitely had times where I'll have like this like intense workout, like if I'm hitting a PR and stuff. But then like other than that, like I'm just chilling. Like I would just be like chill as possible. All right, let's talk about gratitude again. Because gratitude, is the fuel of, sustained effort. When you're constantly reminding yourself of the good, you build a foundation of positive energy, and this energy makes you more likely to hit the gym more, even when you don't feel like it. It makes you feel more likely to post content, even when, you're getting low views. It makes you feel more resilient when you face setbacks in relationships. When you feel grateful for the small steps, the process itself becomes more enjoyable. You stop, dreading every weekday. You stop feeling guilty for taking a break. You start seeing the opportunity in every challenge. This isn't just about being happy. It's also about, being effective. It's about becoming the person who embodies that I can achieve everything that I want mentality. It's about turning your self image from a 2 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. Not just like physically, but mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. You can become kind of like sometimes you might get a little cocky in a good way because you're actually putting in the work and you're seeing the good in your life even when others don't, and you start becoming the best version of yourself. So, what are you waiting for? This isn't just another video for you to scroll and in the past and forget. This is like actually like valuable advice, and this is the difference between staying stuck and actually starting that 180-degree change in your life. Literally, just grab a pen, grab a journal, and you can literally do it right now. Write down what you're good for, and tomorrow when you wake up, before you touch your phone, before you let the world of social media bombard your brain with all of its noise and dopamine, just write down 3, 5 things that you're good for, and more importantly, why. And just literally do this, and just have the mindset of doing this for the rest of your life. Even though you will miss some days, and sometimes you feel a little bit inconsistent, but having this mindset of just not giving up and doing this for the rest of your life, you would definitely become consistent. And remember my life stuff, and remember this: everyone has a purpose in something, and a person who doesn't have a purpose is dead. Find your purpose and let it feel and fill it with gratitude. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more no bullshit self-improvement content, and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss out. And let me know in the comments what you're good for today.